Well, semester just finishes up this week, so it's about to get really, really slow. Um, Summer is generally kind of slow anyway, so once things are officially over, then yeah, I'll just still be here. Uh, as of right now, yes. Um, we'll see how long that lasts, but for the time being, fortunately, I still have work. Um, so that's cool. Yeah, I'm the low man on the totem pole, like for my stuff. But um, if I were to suddenly not be there, a lot of things would also fall apart. So it'll be interesting to see. But hopefully, I'll come out on the other end of this still employed. Yeah. Hi, I'm Dave. I make noises hallucinogenic bulb. I started doing it in 2016, but didn't really start doing it till like 2017. I've been living in Philly the whole time. I live in South Philly right now. I have all of my noise gear just out of frame over here. Actually, let me see if I can. Yeah, so we got the pedal board of doom over here, which is only a part of everything. We played together so many times. It's so sick. Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's more now that I have all of this stuff, but it still is all just one output. All goes into Unity through my laptop. Um, and part of that's why I can do live streaming so easily. Just yeah. The before I like figured out how to get my computer signal to go straight to the stream, I would just go live on my phone and just have everything running through my computer speaker, and that was okay. Um, but having the line out, one sounds better. Two, basically like using like the same software that like Twitch streamers use. It also gives me a whole bunch of other cool stuff that I can do, such as faking blue screens of death to end my sets. It's OBS Studio. And I'm actually going to go ahead and pull that up right now. Um, I haven't like gone too crazy with it. Just some like color correction and to make the audio happen. But let me go ahead, share my screen so if anybody is watching at home, they can see all this fun stuff. Can you see that? Beautiful. Um, Although it doesn't see my webcam because Zoom is using it. But I like have some like let me go into the settings here. Filters. That's what I was looking for. Um, Found some ways to just kind of like play with the color corrections. That way it looks a little bit different than my webcam. And then I have my blue screen of death. which also totally cuts the audio, um, which is really really fun. Yeah, unfortunately, my computer hasn't actually crashed yet, but but the first time I did the blue screen, um, I like done the blue screen, shut everything down, and then like I saw some comments was this supposed to happen? So it does work. It does work really really well. So I went to school for video game design. I graduated in 2017. It was about that time that I realized one, there was pretty much no shot of me getting into that industry, and two, I didn't really want to do that anyway. Um, and I actually wrote like um, the first sort of like the shell of what like the hallucinogenic bulb unity project is. Um, just for one summer day. Um, and using that same technology that like I was using for like my school projects and stuff. Um, and then it just kind of turned into its own thing. I want to, and I actually kind of was to some degree able to like get like the actual like number values of like the sound wave that like Unity spits out. Um, and was able to like get those numbers and then like assign them to like colors on the screen. So I do have like responsive visuals in the works, but it's just the screen background changing color now. It's not particularly developed, but it could happen someday. Um, if I can figure out how to project it and run all my stuff and have my laptop not explode in the process. Yeah, it'll make it crash for real, which hasn't happened yet, but one day it will, and that'll be a time. Yeah, right, right. I mean, it's a lot. I'm one person who has access to all this technology, so it's a lot easier for me to just keep things rolling, um, or rather change course a little bit. Go to the live stream format, um, as opposed to Ben's, where all those people don't live in the same place, and then they would have to meet, and then that's just not really possible or advisable right now. Um, so me and other people who are solo projects and like have easy access to the technology and have roommates who are willing to put up with them, um, are able to just keep going, um, even though live shows are shut down. uh I do get the chance to like try some new tricks and stuff, and try some new um and like try like new sounds, new stuff, longer sets, which isn't a thing I normally do. I'm normally 10 minutes and I'm out. But uh I've been playing, 15 minutes, sometimes even longer than that with these sets. So like it's and also like the live just using the OBS live streaming technology lets me do it lets me employ some tricks and stuff that I don't get to do in a live setting. And also I can do it way more because I don't have to one clear my schedule to then go to a place and do this. I can just if I want to live stream a set, plug all my stuff in, and I'm there. So it's a lot easier. I can try some stuff that I normally wouldn't live or can't do live because it's in person. Yeah, so it's new tricks. I don't know if I'll bring them all back with me when we can play live shows again, but hey, we're here. We're having fun. They were both kind of nerve wracking at first for me, and because I work tech support, I know how badly things can break, and I know how disastrous they can be, and I'm generally able to stay calm in those situations, but I deal with a lot of people that don't. So once I'd kind of gotten the whole live stream thing like down to a science, it's a lot less nerve wracking. I mean, I can't see the people, but like I still know that people are watching most of the time. But live, at least like in person for me, is still more nerve wracking, especially if like I'm in like a familiar place or if I don't know anybody there. But again, like I have that somewhat down pat too. Yeah. Yeah, it just becomes a whole other set of things if you already just didn't have a good day to start with. Yeah, I normally like if I like know I have a show that night, like that will like even if I am having like a terrible day, that'll like knowing that will like at least for me like keep that from like reaching critical mass or something. Um, and I can usually even if it's not a set that I'm super happy with, I still did it. It sounds okay. Even if I made a mistake, not everybody will be the wiser. So usually it turns out okay.
Wait, let me see. Someone said that they can't hear me. So I'm going to try to fix that right now. Alright, let's. My audio is definitely not picking
I
up.
can hear you more clearly now.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, it was fuzzy before, but like I could still hear you.
Alright, let's see. I think. Let's see. Let me see if. Hopefully that recorded. That would suck.
Well, I got the notification that you're broadcasting live on Twitter, so it is out there.
It's out there. I'm hoping that it recorded for like for later. Let's see. Sorry about that. I guess
It's all good. Yeah, at least on Facebook, it usually records it for future reference.
Let's see. If you can hear it better, I guess I'm going to open up a window and talk and see how goofy this sounds.
Oh, hi, Steve. Steve can hear both of us.
Oh, you can? Okay.
For future reference. Yeah.
Sweet.
Cool.
All right. So, good. I guess more important is like people can hear you besides me.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm important sometimes, maybe.
All right, that made me lose my train of thought. Big time. I guess one of the questions I asked is like, do you think that there's going to be like live streaming after this, kind of like fantasy lineups? I know like a lot of people say, oh, that's not going to happen at all at this point, and I guess it kind of might be redundant.
I mean, it still could. I don't think. I think as soon as we can have shows in person again, most people are going to move to that. But I don't want to completely discount that whole fantasy lineup, curated live stream shows thing. Because like when we had talked via text, that was like right at the beginning of all this lockdown, and now we're a month and a half into it. And I'm seeing kind of on the regular like these very like curated lineups with people like all over the country, and those just wouldn't happen in person, or at least they would be a lot harder to do in person. So I'm not totally convinced that those will go away once we can do live shows, but we'll see.
Yeah, I've seen some live events. I don't think any of the ones that we're connected with. I know some of them you have to pay to see the Facebook live event, which I think is pretty. I guess it's a it's a little.
I'm not here for that.
Yeah, I mean, like it's. I'd rather have like a tip section for the artist.
Oh yeah.
But like to have to pay to go into a Facebook page to see like a live like feed, it seems like a little.
It's a little much, but I mean, I'm sure that was also kind of inevitable, I guess, as soon as someone figured out that we're going to be here a while in quarantine. That there was some sort of way to capitalize on that, but most of the events I've seen have done the tip jar thing.
Yeah, which is good. I think it's like it sticks with like that DIY ethic.
Yeah,
like I guess some of the places that I saw, I won't name. I was just like, "Are you really asking for money right now?"
Yeah, it's wild, but yeah, it's wild, and it's still a very new thing that for most people. So we'll kind of see how things shake out if we're still in quarantine for a while.
Yeah, and like how does like I'm in West Philly, you're in South.
Yeah.
How like the whole COVID situation have you been out? Like have you been like kind of like seeing the effects outside, or just kind of been like?
I've been very much cherry picking the times that I go outside. I went out to ship out a bunch of like tapes and stuff on Saturday. It was like 10:30, 11, and like there are a lot of like retail like essential businesses like about where I'm at, but like there were a lot of people out, and I'm like, really, I'm sure some of you need to be out here, but not all of you need to be out here. But normally I try and like when I like do have to go get groceries and stuff, I'll like try and pick times where I know it's not gonna be busy to try and minimize that, and then I'll just be in my house the rest of the time.
Yeah, it's tough to go out right now. It's just like I've not a lot of people are wearing masks or kind of like wearing a mask like not on your face. Like,
yeah, the old mask covering the mouth but not the nose is a new favorite of mine.
Have you seen? This is my mom told me this, but she saw someone put a hole through the mask so they can still smoke a cigarette.
I've seen that in pictures on the internet, but I haven't seen that in the wild.
Yeah, that's like I want to see that I want to see that in the city so bad because I think it's like the most hilarious thing, and it's the most Philly thing.
It is very Philly. Definitely because like we're in West and South. Someone somewhere in our neighborhoods has probably done that.
Yeah, multiple different times.
Oh yeah.
Well, I guess since we're both from Philly, how does Philly noise separate itself from other parts of the country? I guess like if there is a difference.
When I started playing out, other than like when I met like you and like a handful of other people, I didn't really know anybody, and like I would play like with exclusively like hardcore bands at that time. But like as I've started to play out more and more, there started to be more and more other people that like I've linked up with that we also doing noise shows. It's kind of more of like I'll play like stuff I have no business on, but like that'll only be like half or less of it, and then I'll play like stuff where I actually should be on, and it's a lot more even now. Whereas like me playing noise shows to start I would be the sole noise act on a not noise bill, and those are always fun too. I love those, but it's a lot more even now.
Yeah, I think the good thing with you that you played with all these like hardcore bands and everything, that's pretty dope. I feel like there should be more of that. And like when I came back from like Jersey, it was really hard to like get onto shows until it was like a few months. It's like, oh, I'm in Philly now, like, and then like things start to escalate. So like, it's weird. It's like you have to know someone to know someone.
And what helped me a lot with that was that like I've been doing a lot of like freelance graphic design stuff on the side for people in bands. So I already know all those people, so I'll just go message them and say, hey, can I play this with you guys? And they'll either say yes or no, and then we'll go from there.
Oh, wow. That's pretty smart.
Yeah, especially when I was starting out, because like I didn't know anybody else that did noise in Philly, and they weren't like playing out regularly anyway. But like I wanted to, and most out of town shows that I played before I like really knew people in noise was like, hey, random metalcore show in New Jersey, can I play this? I sound weird, but here you go. And those are always fun.
Yeah, well, noise has like the ability to like play really weird venues and like the not stereotypical like. Well, I never seen it before. It's like when a Trocadero is closed, it's like we would never play the Trocadero. If like it would be cool if we did if it was still open, but like we play in basements.
Yeah.
I played in a laundromat in like Ohio.
Oh, that's so sick.
Which is sick. So it's like, what kind of acts can actually do that without?
Yeah, when Zombie Shark and I went on tour, we played a Classroom in DC, and that was the most fun show ever. Honestly, we pulled up to the Classroom, and I text dude like, hey, like this can't be the place, can it? Like I opened the door and there are students working in there, and then he's like, yeah, that's the place. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Here we fucking go. And it was fantastic.
Yeah, I know the place that you're talking about.
Yeah.
And that was a really good show for me too. And it's like you're going around. It's like, does anyone know I'm going to be here? Like,
Yeah, like we're definitely like just old enough that we probably like have no other business in that building, but like we were all able to do it and it went off without a hitch, including our friends in Mikau who are a three-piece hardcore band. We fit them in the classroom, and that was insane.
yeah, like well, I didn't get to see your. I don't know if your set is up online of that.
It is. I'll send it to you when we're done here.
Yes, please. I would love to because I love the Zombie Shark one.
Yeah, we have the Zombie Shark one. I have mine. I think we got Mikau's set too, but I'll have to ask Corey about that.
Okay, yeah, that's like something that like I'm glad you guys documented.
Yeah, we Corey's friend Nick came with us for the three of the Ford shows, and he actually I'll have to send you like the tour recap he did. But like that has a lot of good clips from all three of the shows that we played out of town. Baltimore was awesome too. So that DC show was, and I'm trying to get down there as soon as this shit's over.
Yes, I definitely want to go down. Also,
Yeah,
hit up Garrett after this.
yeah, let's go.
Well, like, I guess like talking about like documentation and kind of like playing live, how important, like, I don't think there's a lot of like people that are playing these Facebook shows or thinking about like the archivalness of the event page and like kind of like saving these sets in a different like platform, because you know like an event page, like it doesn't really have that much go back value to it.
Right.
If you like post in the page, is that something that we should be concerned about for documenting art during like this time, or like music?
So most of my sets, like ever, like before COVID, during COVID, after COVID, I usually like record the audio of anyway, because most of my releases are just those tracks. But what I also do for most of those events when I go live is I'll like add them to like the Hallucinogenic Bulb page, so that way I can go back through and find those relatively easily. And they're there, but I personally really haven't put in like a significant effort to kind of like compile them in like sort of like an actual archive, as opposed to just, oh yeah, I know how to find these, and I can just point people to them.
Yeah, which is like both of it is great. Like after like years down the line, we can always go back to these event pages and like click on it. There would be like some sort of weird nostalgia value to it. It's like, oh, these are the COVID.
Yeah, these are the COVID days.
Yeah.
When we live streamed noise sets, we didn't. Well, maybe we still played them in basements, but we didn't play them to other people in basements.
Yeah, well, I think it's like interesting to see like for the live streams I saw of you, like your like there's an intimateness to them because we see where you're at.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I think that's really the seeing different people's like in their locations. It kind of like it's like you're stuck in that location, and you're trying to express yourself in the same location, but then you can't leave. In a way.
Yeah, I mean, I could go out to like the 6x6 square that is the backyard, but yeah, you can't really leave.
Yeah, it's I think I've seen some of Jordan's ones with his like guitar, and it's like dark bedroom.
Yeah, it's crazy. And going back to what I said earlier about like just kind of like taking advantage of live stream stuff is like you can set the venue too. Like I can't turn all the lights off at Century, but I can turn off the ones that Jake lets me turn off at Century. But I can kill all the lights in my bedroom, set up, whatever lighting I want, whatever like aura I want. And Wormtooth actually does a really good job of that too. Kind of setting a mood for the space. He definitely look in a lot of my event pages, and I'll actually send you some of the Wormtooth live streams. But him and Jordan, I think, do a really good job of kind of setting the stage in different ways than I do. Yeah, in a way that like you can only do so much of in like a bar or a basement.
Yeah, and I guess like I'm curious. Let's think like that brings up. It's like if this whole situation is just kind of like, oh, I like kind of experiment more with the venue and like where it's located. But also it's like what I kind of wanted to do before this, but it kind of makes me want to do because of the situation. It's like when we are able to play out live, it would be nice if there's an internet connection to still have that live streaming aspect of it.
Oh, yeah. And especially in places like classrooms, because colleges have Wi-Fi. And people's houses, if they are generous enough to let you do that. Having that would be really cool. But that would also be another set of logistical things that, could be figured out when that time comes.
Yeah.
But that would kind of have a different vibe to it than like just a live show or just a live stream show. Kind of a hybrid situation.
Yeah, that would be great. That's something to keep in the back of our minds for like a later date.
Yeah, for when we can all get together in person again to really go all the way off with this.
How many noise fests do you think are going to happen after this?
Hopefully a lot, and hopefully they'll let me play some of them.
Totally. Kind of like, I can see just from doing these I can see people getting together more, at least on the online aspect. Like
yeah,
like for me personally, reaching out to people that I don't think I would have if it wasn't for COVID.
Right.
I don't know if you have that experience.
So some of the people I've played with are ones that I wouldn't have been able to with COVID, and some people that like I've already been friends with. I'm like, now that we've been doing these live streams, like Lev from Witching does full contact audio where he builds these sick metal frames, and we didn't really like talk before that, but like we've played a bunch of live shows together now, and I'm sure we will do more. And that all is sick as fuck.
Sweet. Let me I'm gonna see some of these questions I asked you. Yeah, I'm still surprised that like I guess like with noise, it was kind of almost made for this situation, like aesthetic wise, and just like the one man or one person or like two, like it's kind of like the imagery and the individual of it was like made for the situation, and kind of like it helped it, but also it kind of like reinforces some of those ideas.
I mean, I kind of like with like my stuff, I'm kind of like thematically all over the place. Sometimes like a set that I want to do, like, oh, I have these sounds, I want to, do something cool with them, or I have this new pedal, or like there's like some sort of like, like personal theme to it. So like I'm kind of all over the place, so it's kind of tough for me to say if like other than it's one person, I have the technology, I can just keep this stuff rolling. And I guess what I'm trying to get at is that this sort of live stream stuff is like I don't really stick to one kind of like theme with bulb stuff, and I don't have to do that with the live streams either. I can just kind of do whatever I want, and if I like something, I'll riff more on that later. But like, yeah, the one person thing, you know, if you have the ability to do so, to just keep doing stuff.
Yeah, that's like almost like the theme with like music as a whole. It's like, I guess, less guitar driven, band, like typical bands, and more of like this hybrid approach into like the individual.
Yeah.
Which is real interesting, and maybe this situation might hone down on that even more, because
maybe.
Wait, what?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Like I think, you know, we're gonna still see people wearing masks for the foreseeable future, I believe.
Oh yeah. Both you know, the medically necessary masks, and you know, people just. I personally am not a fan of wearing masks. Like more elaborate. Not a fan of wearing anything other than my normal clothes for Noisette. But for people who, you know, do kind of go further into that aspect, you know, they're going to keep doing it. And again, much like I can take advantage of the life and technology, they can take advantage of, you know, doing that up more.
Yeah. I guess like I didn't even think about it, like as a costume. Like
yeah,
it kind of like I didn't think about that. I feel like maybe like Scar-Lord's probably having a day because he always wears a mask.
I'm sure he is. I mean, he's probably having a good day anyway.
Yeah, definitely better than a noise artist, I guess. I don't know. I guess we kind of went over like the long-term effects that this had on like noise. I know I asked you this, but like, what's the first thing you're gonna do when you're able to go outside?
I mean, I'm gonna go hang out with all my friends
Yeah.
and probably end up on the last minute show at Century, because that's just kind of what happens.
And everyone who doesn't know, like, they should, you know, the Century is a place that we've played at multiple different times.
So many times. My two of my last 3 shows before everything shut down were at Century. Kind of like it's my natural habitat, more or less.
Yeah, it's like a great place. Like, Jay's such a great guy to let us be able to do that.
Yeah.
And who doesn't know about Century, definitely check out Century. And after when this is all over, try to support them or support them now. Even.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I think it's probably a couple posts deep at this point, but Jay posted some stuff on like how people can help, and everything for May is also shut down. So I'm sure they still need the help.
Yeah, you can definitely donate, and I'll probably post about it later, or like kind of like put it in the subscript, like somewhere at the bottom.
Yeah, just drop a link somewhere.
Yeah. Well, it kind of goes into like, this is like the weird thing, and I guess it goes into more like me as a artist in a way. Like, there's some schools that are closing down right now, and obviously there might be venues that shut down because of this whole thing, which will affect
everyone.
And like my teacher, where he got his MFA at, that school shut down after this whole thing. They're not going to, like, that school's not going to be around. And there's going to be obviously a lot of like venues that sadly aren't going to be around.
Yeah,
at all.
I hope that happens as little as possible, but that's just gonna kind of have to wait it out and see.
Yeah, I guess like it kind of like there's going to be a lot more people will be like, if this place shuts down, then I'm just going to host a show in my basement. So that this might down the line go towards the more like DIY type of thing. I don't know. Hopefully, not. Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I didn't even think about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Still a little early to call on that, I guess.
Definitely. Oof. It's really scary to think about.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of like some other things. But as I'm thinking, because I'm always unprepared,
It happens.
what acts should we should check out right now?
I could go all day with this.
Yeah, do it, please.
Hang on. I'm going to find what I said last time.
Totally.
Probably gonna take a second. Oh, here we go. All right.
Claire said hi to us, by the way.
Hi, Claire.
Hey, Claire.
So we got Zombie Shark, Regrown, Lambeth, Yuckmouth, Moyogash, Mara Maple, Thought Crime, Wormtooth, Brooke Pridemore, Burial Fog, Alpha Buddhist, Glass Spitter, Shotzi, Lastima, Malavich, Nil Server, Cemetery Bastard, Niku Dharma, Hive, Westward Journey, A Death by the Seaside, Viscera, Nowhere, Countdown from 10, Cop Jokes, Hot Flakes, Bison Squad, Actual Entities, Steve Callie, hi Steve, I hope you're still in the chat, Cycle of Abuse, Codex Orizaba, who dropped a sick-ass new album a couple days ago, Mikau, Body Ache, and all of your friends, because...
Yeah, that's a long list. Oof.
Long list.
Yeah, this has been great. I want to I always get like a brain fart around here around this time. I wonder if we should stop it right here, because you said some really great things. And you have merch. You have new merch out also.
I've had the merch out since Corey and I went out in November. I'm down to the last handful of shirts. I have tapes of my split with Grave Blankets, who are also awesome. And then I have a collab album with Lambeth coming out in 2 weeks, and I will eventually have tapes of that. And I will eventually have tapes of my split with Steve Callie, which will also come out eventually. But for right now, I just have a handful of shirts and tapes and mini CDs, so I guess hit those if you feel so compelled.
Are you doing any, like, with that, with the collabs, are you doing anything different that, anything, like, sound-wise that's, like, different from compared what you usually do, or since they're...
So for that record with Paul Lambeth, I actually went to his house, and we just like improvised a bunch of stuff, like spent all day doing that. And a lot of what he does is a lot of repetition, a lot of like programmed repetition, things in like odd time signatures are slowly shifting as opposed to my brand of bullshit. So kind of the end result ends up both being like really, really pretty at times, and just kind of, and also there are parts where it's just absolute chaos. And I think it kind of it really hits on like what both of us do. But it's also something that neither of us would have come up with on our own. So I'm really stoked for that.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that, and I love the fact that like you like switch fonts.
I literally thought of that like just before I go to bed, just before I went to bed the night before we announced everything. I'm like, wait, hold up. We originally just had like one side of the tape is like our normal fonts, and the other side was the Switch. But then I was like, we should use this for the announcement as well. And so that's what we're rolling with.
Yeah, it's great. I hope there's some sort of merch.
Maybe.
You know.
Well, the tapes have both our regular logos and the switched ones on them.
Okay.
I don't. I guess we'll have to see about merch, but the tapes have both, and Paul is a big fan of the brutal scribble that I made for him, so it's all good.
Yeah, that needs to be on a t-shirt. Well, thank you for spending the time out of your day.
Yep, thank you for having me again. I don't have any new live stream shows planned, but I'm sure one will pop up eventually.
Yeah, but I guess I'll have an announcement later for something that we talked about. So
Yep.
I gotta get on that. Thanks for
Yeah,
reminding me.
we'll all get there.
Yeah, well, thank you again. Later on, if everything goes well, I have an interview later on. Whoever's anyone watching around like 3:00 with Echo Lightwave Unspeakable. Hopefully,
Good stuff.
he is wearing something that he plays out live in.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Well, thanks again, Dave.
Thank you.
See ya.